Welcome back to the Advocate Voice podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm joined by
Jules, and today we're diving into a groundbreaking development in healthcare policy.
today, June 12th, 2025. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a sweeping plan to overhaul the FDA approval process for rare disease treatments. This initiative aims to accelerate access to life-saving therapies for the 30 million Americans living with rare diseases. Let's break down what this means for patients, researchers, and the healthcare system.
7 to 10 years. That's how long patients with rare diseases typically wait for new treatments to get FDA approval. But what if I told you a radical new proposal could cut that timeline in half?
That's exactly why this new FDA fast-track proposal from HHS Secretary RFK Jr. is getting so much attention in the biotech world. We're talking about potentially transforming the entire approval process for rare disease treatments.
You know what really struck me about this? A biotech executive said something that perfectly captures the urgency. Time is tissue. Every day of delay means actual physical deterioration for these patients.
Well, that's particularly relevant when we consider there are over 30 million Americans living with rare diseases, and most don't have any FDA-approved treatments available. Let me break down why this plan is so different from previous attempts at reform. It's targeting four specific bottlenecks that have historically slowed everything down. First, they're completely overhauling how the FDA handles trials for ultra-rare conditions.
And by ultra rare, we're talking about diseases that affect fewer than 200,000 people, right?
Exactly. And for conditions affecting fewer than 10,000 people, they're going to accept different kinds of evidence altogether. Real-world data, patient-reported outcomes, things that make more sense when your patient population is so small.
That's a huge shift from the traditional three-phase clinical trial process that can take up to a decade.
And here's what's fascinating. They're dramatically expanding the orphan drug program. Right now, these designations come with perks like tax credits, fee waivers, and 7 years of market exclusivity. Under the new plan, they're raising the threshold to include conditions affecting up to 250,000 patients.
Though I have to wonder, how do we balance this need for speed with ensuring these treatments are actually safe?
That's where the international models come in. Japan has their Sakigake designation. Europe has the PRIME scheme. Both are getting treatments to patients faster while maintaining safety standards. And get this, they're actually seeing better safety outcomes in some cases because they're monitoring real-world data more closely.
So, if we look at the bigger picture, this could actually reshape America's position in global biotech innovation.
Exactly. Right now, we're losing some of our best researchers and startups to other countries. I spoke with a small biotech CEO who had to license their breakthrough therapy to a European firm because they couldn't survive the projected 8-year FDA timeline.
Well, that explains why they're creating this new rare disease innovation network to link the FDA, NIH, academic centers, and biotech companies.
And here's what really gives me hope. They're hiring rare, disease-specific reviewers and statisticians. It's not just about moving faster, it's about moving smarter. They're even creating what they're calling a sandbox regulatory environment, similar to what the UK does for fintech.
You know what's interesting about that? Patient advocacy groups have become incredibly sophisticated in their ability to spot safety issues, sometimes even before regulators do.
Let me share something that really drives this home. I met a mother whose child has an ultra-rare genetic condition, and she described watching her daughter lose abilities month by month while waiting for treatment approval. Every regulatory delay meant another skill her child might never get back.
That's devastating, and it really brings it back to that phrase, time is tissue.
You know what's most promising about this plan? It's not just pushing paper around, it's acknowledging that innovation and compassion don't have to be at odds. For the first time, we're seeing a proposal that really seems to understand the urgency of rare disease treatment development.
Though implementation will be crucial, the FDA is already stretched thin on resources.
True, but here's what it comes down to. We're not just talking about faster approvals, we're talking about whether a 6-year-old with a rare neurodegenerative disorder lives long enough to see their 7th birthday. And that's why this could be the most transformative shift in rare disease drug policy in a generation.
RFK Jr.'s bold plan to reform the FDA approval process for rare disease treatments is a promising step toward addressing the unmet needs of millions of Americans. By streamlining clinical trials, expanding orphan drug designation, modernizing approval pathways, incentivizing pediatric trials, and enhancing collaboration, this initiative has the potential to revolutionize the landscape of rare disease treatment. As always, we'll continue to monitor these developments and keep you informed on how they impact the rare disease community.
Thank you for tuning in to the Advocate Voice podcast. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.